Hello, welcome back to Flosstube number 6. I'm Emma. I'm gender fluid. I use the pronouns or Emma. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, also welcome. I can't believe this is number 6 already. It's it's been a really quick 6 weeks. I'm having a lot of fun making these. I hope you're also enjoying them, which is probably why you've returned if you have. Let's just dive straight in. So I forgot last week to tell you what I was wearing, so I won't forget this week. I made this jacket. Probably should have ironed it. I hate ironing. I don't mind ironing when I'm making things, but ironing afterwards is just a drag. Anyway, you get the gist. It's got like puffy sleeves. It's made out of this kind of Sacred Heart material that I bought years ago and then had in my stash for ages. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to make something from it. So you can kind of see it's on the side here, this little cherub with a heart. It's cute. It wraps at the bottom. It was a Vogue pattern that, again, I had in my stash for a while, and I made a couple of things out of it, and then I threw the pattern away because it's too short. It's a crop top, and the crop is just a little bit too short because it wraps as well, and you have to wear like the wrap also wraps quite low, so you can see I'm wearing a crop top underneath it, and it's just like, it's a great top that I would wear to work, but I have to wear a vest underneath it, which is fine, but it's just like, if I'm going to make something for myself, I want it to be perfect. So I'm happy with the two that I made, but I was like, no, I'm not going to make any more with this pattern. But I did make my own bias binding, so you can see, I actually can't see that, that's behind my camera. I should have done the other side, which I can't see. The bias binding matches on the inside, so the neckline is bound with self-made bias binding, which is really cool. And I really enjoyed making bias binding. It was fun. So if you're a sewer and you haven't made your own bias binding, I really recommend it. You just get these little like metal, I would get one out to show you, but I have no idea where I put them. Classic me. They're somewhere in my house. We're moving soon, so at some point they will turn up, and if I find them, I'll get them out and show them. They look like almost like piping tips for making icing, but you feed your strip of flat fabric in, and then you iron what comes out the other end, and it makes your bias binding, and it's really cool. And then it can exactly match your fabric. And I made way too much of this bias binding, and I've used it in other projects, and it's really fun because then it's like cool bias binding that you can see only on the inside of your own projects, or I guess on the outside if you want. That was a long way of saying bias binding is really fun, and yeah, it's really easy to make. Loads of it. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this lip colour. It's one I've had for ages from Bourjois, but they've unfortunately stopped selling in the UK, so I had a bit of a panic. I didn't realise when they stopped selling in like 2019, I didn't realise, and I I panicked bought all of this particular lip product that I could find on Amazon a couple of weeks ago. So they've been arriving over the last 2 weeks. But yeah, no, it's my favourite, so I was very upset. Show you another previous finish. This is quite a big one, so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to fit it on screen. I will figure it out. This is, oh, hello moth, go away. You don't belong there. This is a knitted blanket that I made a very long time ago. 2 or 3 years ago now. More than that, 3, 4 years ago. It took about a year to make, and it's a massive colourwork blanket. It's knitted basically in hexagons. Each hexagon is colourwork, and then you seam them all together, and it makes a blanket. And hopefully you're getting a pretty good idea of what that looks like. I've actually made 2 of these now because I made this one for myself, and then the following year I, with a group of friends, made another one for a wedding present for another friend. So it's called Persian Dreams. I've called mine the tiled blanket, and I've gone back on Instagram and taken out everywhere wherever I referred to it as a Persian blanket. Just because there's a movement on Instagram at the moment to take out references to Asian or Middle Eastern names of things that haven't been designed by people from those places. I'm not certain about the designer of this blanket. I did have a look, but she doesn't talk about her heritage. I know she lives in Canada. And not using the names of those places to make the product seem more exotic and therefore more desirable, particularly in reference to Japan. It's used a lot and other Asian places. So I went back and re-edited all of my Instagram, take out any reference to Persia, and I just call it the tiled blanket. So if you want to look for it, that is what the pattern is called, and it is a really nice pattern. But yeah, just if you are looking for posts on my Instagram, I'm calling it my tiled blanket, and that is the reason why. It hasn't come up a lot in the cross-stitch community, but it's quite a big thing in the sewing community, and quite a lot of sewists from those communities have asked that people not use references to Japan or Asian communities in the titles of their patterns unless they're genuinely from those communities. So that's why I've taken out any reference to it from my posts. So yeah, it's an awesome pattern though, and it's held up really well. I knitted it in Knit Picks palette. If you're in America or Canada, Knit Picks is much more accessible to you. I had to ship it over here from America, but it's a really great yarn for colour work. It's really easy to knit with, and if you have sensitivities to wool, like if rough wool makes you itch, palette is a really great choice for colour work because it holds together really well, and I am sensitive to some wool, but this palette is not one that I have issues with, and it's available in, as you can see, a really wide range of colours, even wider than this, but yeah. Yes, I'll put a link to the pattern designer because it's a really cool one, and if you're looking to get into colour work, maybe not an entire colour work blanket because it is a really big commitment, but she has other patterns, and but if you're looking for a really big project to commit to, it's spectacular. It really is a showstopper, and I'm very pleased with it. Even all these years later, I'm gonna have to wash it now though because I've just found a moth in it. Oh dear, the things we live with as as knitting enthusiasts. A very nice cup of coffee today. We bought a new set of ground coffee, and it's very strong, so we're just kind of adjusting how much we use in our filter. Onto the cross stitch. I have a finish. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've been working really hard on my Sweet Pea by Nadezdha, and I have finished my Hare. Here's, I was going to say Johnny, but that's really inappropriate for this adorable Hare. Here's Johnny. No. Here is Sweet Pea. I'm honestly really happy with how this turned out. The stitching, the more I do cross-stitch patterns, the more I realise that sometimes my counting is absolutely shocking. Like, this A is somehow off by half a stitch. I mean, literally, it's off in the linen by half a stitch, and I have no idea how that happened. But when I got to the border, I was like, something's wrong here, but the border's right, so it's the A that's off. And there's something funky going on in these flowers as well. But you know what? I don't care. No one will know apart from me and all of you, but you don't care either, right? And it looks fantastic. She, he, they are going to sit on my desk and make me happy. I did it in on the remnants of a bit of chromatic alchemy fabric that I used for a wedding sample that I did for my friends. And I mean, you need the tiniest bit of fabric for this. I have it was the other half of this. I mean, it's really small. That is the remaining half. You have to pull out some threads for the tail, which is why there's bits missing. You need the tiniest bit of fabric. So this is the other half of what I used. So you can see, like, I mean, it was tight. I got to the nose, and the end of the nose was like this far in from the fabric. So you need to be comfortable with working with small seam allowances. But because you're not framing it, you're sewing it, you don't need big seam allowances because you're sewing it in anyway. So if you have big seam allowances, you're just going to cut them off anyway. So yeah, really small bits of fabric. So great for remnant pieces you've got lying around. I could make another one on this. I'm not going to, but I could. So And then I put on the back, this is a piece of fabric I had left over from a dress that I made for a wedding 5 years ago. Not that I'm a hoarder, apart from when it comes to craft supplies, but I thought this went really well. And this is kind of, it's, the main bit of this fabric was actually blue, but I fussy cut, I picked a bit that had the pink flower on because I thought it went really well with the front. I just think it, I could have used that other piece of fabric to make the back, but the seams would have been really bulky because that fabric is really thick. I think it's a merino. So it's much thicker than Belfast linen. So actually sewing it together would have been really hard. Whereas this is a more similar to a quilting cotton. I don't think it's a quilting cotton, but it is that kind of weight. So using it to seam meant that the seams were much easier to put together because this fabric is so much thinner and pliable. But it came together perfectly. And then the bottom, I fussy cut a bit of the fabric that was bright red because I wanted to. I probably could have chosen a slightly less obvious colour so it wouldn't stand out on the base, maybe if I did it again. But do you know what? I really like it, and I'm not mad about it at all. And the tail is adorable. That's just bits strands from the linen that you fold in half and sew in. And so I'm really delighted with this, and I thought I'm not like dying to make another one immediately, but if I was, for example, I made this with remnants of the fabric that I used to make a wedding sampler, and if, for example, those people had a child, I could give this to them for their child's nursery, because it's like, it would be really cute in a nursery, and it's the same fabric, so it would be kind of really cute for that. I mean, obviously it's not a toy, but as like a kind of go on a shelf, and it's cute. But anyway, so that's La-di-da. I know, Sweet Pea by La-di-da Designs. I'm really happy with it. I filled it with polyfill because it's what I had on hand. You always need more polyfill than you think you need. You can always fit way more in than you imagine you would be able to. But yes, it turned out so great. I'm really happy with it. These threads are they're all cottage garden threads. They're the ones that I showed you last time that I got in my monthly thread club from Poppy Patch. Can't remember. If you're interested, let me know and I can look it up and pop it below if you are like desperate to join a cottage garden threads club in the UK. Because they are incredible. I got some more through this week, and I'm going to show you them, and they are, oh boy, they are something else. But yeah, I mean, look at the variegation on those threads. They are really, I mean, this pink and green, and my absolute favourite that I wasn't expecting at all is salvia, which is this this green through to like almost teal and look like greeny brown. And I honestly, when I looked at that in the thread, I was like, nah, not sure. On stitched, it looks phenomenal, and the variegation is so because each strand variegates through the entire strand, you really do see the variegation, whereas some threads you don't, like, you miss it. Yeah, couldn't be happier with how that turned out. Thrilled. Let me know what you think. Do you think I do you think I should have chosen a slightly less obnoxious fabric for the base? Yeah, I'm really pleased. So obviously I'm now done with my La-di-da pattern. I'm not going to stitch this again. So what I thought was, since I got a paper pattern, which is here, not the charms, they're just in there for safekeeping, but if anyone in the UK would like to stitch Sweet Pea, if you just pop, like, I would like to stitch Sweet Pea in the comments below, I will happily randomly select one and send it to you, because I'm not going to stitch this again and it's just going to languish. So let me know. I will happily post it to anywhere in the UK. Sorry, international people, but it's too expensive. But yeah, if you want to stitch Sweet Pea, let me know. Happy to post it to you. You also get my these are just the instructions, but you can't see that. But I cut out the templates for the. I traced and then cut out my own templates for the fabric for the bottom and the cardboard, so you'll get those too. So some of the work's been done for you. I'm going to put that down. I went a bit rogue this past 2 weeks, and I started loads of new things. So this is going to be an interesting one because there's a couple of things you've seen before, and then there's loads of new things because I just went a bit off the wall. So let's start with the new one, Dinosaur Forest by Owl Forest Embroidery. The picture will be there now for you. This is quite a big piece. I'm nearly at the halfway mark across, but obviously I'm not anywhere near down. And I'm stitching this for my stepson Ivo to go in his room because he loves dinosaurs, and so I really want to kind of get on with it and get it done before he's at the point where he doesn't love dinosaurs anymore. So he also loves red. So yeah, I put it on this red fabric, which is Phoenix Lugana 32 count from Picture This Plus, which I showed you a couple of weeks ago. And I did a floss toss. Yes, on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, I do occasionally put up polls about like, I've had this idea. Is it wild? I love this though, and I know some people are like, yes, that is too much, but I really like it. So you can see I have started the border. I have this Stegosaurus. There's one tiny brown dinosaur here. And then I have this tree and other bits of trees. And I'm not sure if the things in the border are supposed to be eggs. I think they are. But yeah, no, I'm really happy with it. I know that probably some of the motifs would have stood out better on the pale green that they sent in the kit. But you know what? I really like it. And I think he will really enjoy it too. And it's definitely like got the wow factor. Some of the threads that came with this have such long colour changes. Like the one that I'm using for the Stegosaurus, which is like a green to blue. I mean, the thread, you need to pull out like this much, and half of that will be green, half of that will be blue. So that's not my preference for variegated threads because you have to stitch so much to get the variegation. And with Owl Forest threads, what I like to do is pull out the entire variegation cycle and stitch with that, because then you get the full variegation before you pull out a new thread and do the full variegation cycle again. But it's too long, like stitching with an entire, you're basically stitching with an entire like 75 centimeters of thread, and it gets raggedy by the end, and it's just too long. And I wish they'd shortened the variegation so that it variegated like 15 centimeters of green, 15 centimeters of blue. Just it would have been more interesting, and you would have got more variegation. Whereas you might as well be stitching with a green and then a blue and have some symbols in green and some symbols in blue, because that's basically what you're doing. Normally I really enjoy the variegation Owl Forest threads, but that one it's basically like half green, half blue, and I really do not vibe with that one. The only Owl Forest thread where I've gone like, dislike, thumbs down. Otherwise, really enjoying this. What I'm trying to do with this one, because I failed to do this on Rooks and I've now kind of stalled, I'm trying to put, every time I pick it up, a couple of strands into the border, then do a motif, because otherwise I know I'll get to the end and I'll be like, no, I have to do the entire border and I don't want to. So I'm trying to keep up with the border as I do the project. Also, the border gives me a good touch point for where motifs should go and make sure that I'm not getting wildly off track. So that's what I'm doing. I haven't picked up Rooks for two reasons. One, border. Two, I really want to reach out some of the Rooks as pigeons for various reasons, mostly because of who I'm giving it to. So I need to sit down with some thread and the charting and just stitch a couple of versions on waste fabric and just like look at the colouring and try and colour some in as pigeons instead of Rooks, because I think that will then, like, the people who I'm giving it to will enjoy it even more. But yeah, I'm really enjoying stitching the Dinosaur Forest. Basically, when I sit down to do it, I sit down and I do a motif. Like I will sit down and do the tree, or I'll sit down and do the thing, or I'll do a dinosaur. It's like, did I do half of that? No, I'll do the entire dinosaur, because basically, again, I'm not drawing on the chart, so if I don't do the full thing, I might forget what I've done and what I haven't done, so it's easier to just do the full thing and then step away from it. So yeah, apart from the border, which I'm just working my way. The border repeats now, so it's this motif repeats all the way along, so it's slightly easier. But yeah, really enjoying it. I'm really happy with that fabric choice. Also, it's nice to kind of not have fabrics just go into the stash and sit there, because I think sometimes that's when I forget about them and then they never reappear. On the note of red fabric, here is the new normal. I finally got out of the trees. Yay! There she is. I'm so happy about this. Yeah. Where am I going to put me and where am I going to put it? Put me over here. Put it over there. Okay. So right, let's try folding. What I've mostly been working on is this bubble here. This bubble here. And it was so much stitching. It was just so much stitching. But I finished it. You can see this bubble is now complete. It's got a bird. And I'm now moving up into this one just so that I can finish this entire motif. And basically there's a bubble, and it's wintry, and then there's like a rabbit poking out of it, and then it's done. And then I'm going to come over. Nope, that's the wrong side. I'm going to come over this side, and I'm going to start going up, and I'm going to get into the fish bubble. Really excited. There's fish and there's seahorses, and I'm very excited for that one. But this whole thing is just looking incredible, and I'm really happy with it. I've got 21,000 stitches still to go, which sounds like quite a lot, but it's still achievable in this year with just over 100 stitches a day, which I'm not doing. I'm still like, it's still a thing that I pick up as my, like, I don't want to have to think. I just want to stitch something, but I don't want to have to think about it. It's still the thing that I go, like, that's the one that's the easiest to stitch. But then once a week I'll pick it up and put 500 stitches into it. I did that last night. I wasn't feeling especially well, so I just like sat and put 500 stitches into it. And it's just really easy to stitch, and I really appreciate it for that. And yeah, it's just like, it's joyous. I'm loving it, and I cannot wait to have all this extra fabric up here done, and send it off to the framers at the end of the year, and just have it on the wall in our new house, and look at it. So yeah, that's the new normal. That is a Longdog samplers pattern. It's really nice. I know that it was designed around the pandemic and around social isolation, but even if you don't want to stitch it for that reason, I still think the visual aspect of the bubbles is really nice. Like, a lot of samplers are geometric, and it's really nice to see one that's not geometric, that's more I didn't say organic, but yeah, that kind of rounded is what appealed to me about it. I'm not saying that I would never do a geometric sample. I have two patterns that I have bought. No, one that I bought and one that I downloaded. I have the Modern Folk Embroidery 2018 sale. That's the seasons one, so it's a winter spring. They're in like boxes. I'll get Chris to put up a picture somewhere. Probably over here now that I've moved. Just to confuse them. And I really like that one. And I've ordered some Silks for You silk. I've been looking at Silks for You silk for a while. And what pushed me over the edge was, if you've been watching Michelle Bendy, she's been doing a 30 threads, 30 days challenge where she stitched a motif every day. Well, one motif for each day in June, and she stitched them when she felt like it, which is completely fine. Who needs to stitch every day? The ones that I was like, wow, the variegation of those is incredible, were all Silks for You. Like, I'm not saying the other threads weren't incredible, but the ones where I was like, wow, the variegation in those is phenomenal, were all Silks for You threads. So that kind of pushed me over the edge, and I was like, maybe now is the time. I've had a promotion. I could probably reward myself with some Silks for You threads. So what I want to do for the Modern Folk Embroidery one is do it on probably quite a traditional fabric. Having seen all my fabrics, that may come as a shock. Probably like a white or a very not off-white, just off-white, with a lavender thread or like variegated purple. So that's what I'm thinking for that one. And then the other one that I have is the Linen and Threads 2019 Stitch Along, which was free on their website to download. I don't know if it still is, but if it is, it's incredible. It's the Peacock Garden one. And I have been sitting with it for over 6 months going, do I just want to stitch the peacock in the middle? Do I want to stitch the whole thing? Every time I look at it, I think it would be quicker to just stitch the peacock in the middle, but actually I love all of it. So I think I've now come to the point where I'm going, actually, I do want to stitch all of it. I don't know if I'll do that next year or wait, because there's no rush. Like, I will get to it. I have the patterns, so it's not going anywhere. And where was I? That one, I'm toying around with maybe using some of my cottage garden threads and doing motifs in different colours. And that was what pushed me over the edge to doing the cottage garden threads thread club, because I was looking at buying some cottage garden threads to kind of look at them and put the colours together to make a thread pack to do the sampler. But now I'm at the point where I'm going to have the cottage garden threads, so I can just look at them together side by side in my own home, in my own time, and then choose a selection to do the sampler with. So those are the two big samplers that I have planned for probably next year, once this one is done, because one big sampler at a time. Yes. Somebody asked me, and apologies, I can't remember your name. I could probably look it up, but I don't want to jump away from recording. The difference between merino and Linda fabric. I did a bit of a deep dive on this, and I have, obviously, this is, this is merino. This is 32 count merino. Merino is always 32 count. This is Zweigart merino. You can't see the orange line because it's been overdyed by this burgundy. And merino is a mix of cotton and a it's not polyester, but it is a synthetic fabric. So the reason that even weaves sometimes take up dye less well is because they've got a synthetic blend in them, and because it's plastic, made from plastic. I mean, it's not plastic, but it's made from plastics. That just doesn't take up dye. So depending on how much cotton there is in your fabric, depends on how well it will take up the dye. So that is why often, if you're buying a hand-dyed fabric, they will show you the even weave separately, because the even weave will be paler than the linen, because the linen is a fully natural fabric and it will just completely take up the dye, whereas because the even weave has some synthetic fabric in some synthetic fibres in it, won't take up the dye quite as well. Although I do hear now that they are some shops do have an even weave that is taking up dye better, so it might be worth just checking in about whether that is available. Merino feels thicker in your hand than Belfast, I would say, to the touch. Linda, this is the project I'm about to show you, is a 27 count even weave, but having now looked into it, Linda is an even weave that's made entirely of cotton. So forget everything I've just said about even weaves taking up dye less well, because Linda is an even weave that's made entirely of cotton, it's going to take up dye just as well as any other non-synthetic fabric. So if you want to order an even weave, but you want one that's dyed really well, and you can see this one has taken up dye really well, you might be better off ordering a Linda if you're happy to work on a 27 count. So that is that was my little deep dive into Merino and Linda. Yeah, it was interesting. I didn't know that about Linda fabric. I assumed that it was it had some synthetic fibre in it, like other even weaves, but no, it's special. It's entirely cotton based. There are tests you can do on fabric to find out what kind of fibres it has in it. They're called burn tests, which, as you can imagine, involves cutting off a tiny bit of your fabric and burning it, and then based on how it chars, what it smells like, you can find out, you can kind of deduce what might be the fibre content of your material. You can look that up online. Just look up burn tests for fabric, and they'll come up. It's something that people do in the sewing community quite a lot, because they don't. When you buy a fabric, you don't necessarily know what the fibre content of it is, especially if it's a little bit cheaper. But yeah, thanks for prompting me to have a look, because it was really interesting and I didn't know that. So yeah, that is the difference between Merino and Linda. So yeah, we'll put the new normal away. That's all the red fabric done. Moving on to purples and blues. I picked up the new I'll have some more coffee. I picked up my Dreaming Person again. The pattern is Dreaming Girl by Barbara Designs. Love this pattern. That's the back. Whoops. See the back now. There they are. You can see after we spoke about it, and a few people were like, it's obviously bothering you, just take out the curl. I did, and I do prefer it. And I was kind of looking at whether I was going to put in some more leaves there to fill the space, and I was like, actually, it's such a busy pattern. I kind of like that there's dead space there. And then I worked on filling in the clouds up here, and I decided to put in only half stitches so they look a little bit more airy, which I'm thrilled with. And I put in these boats, and I filled in all the hair, which looks great. And then I started down in the bottom section with the houses. So I think, aside from the seagulls, because I'm not entirely sure what colour I'm going to put them in yet, the top is entirely done now. And then the bottom, there's quite a lot still to do, but they are very nearly there. I took out some stitches in the middle of the flowers and recolored them. So these ones down here were originally blue, and I took them out and put in this lime green. Those ones over there were originally blue, and I took them out and put in purple. And up here I put in some like red. I think that's DMC 22. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. So yeah, I really, really like how this is coming along. It's washing out quite a lot in this. That's kind of, there you go. That's kind of helping slightly. But yeah, I think it's going to look amazing when it's done. This fabric is from Chromatic Alchemy. It's, like I said, it's a 27 count. It's a Linda. And it's from her, I think it's actually from her eco dyes, which means that it's based natural matter, which is cool. But yeah, it's a one-off. I use the same fabric for my Dreaming Frida, and they'll frame as a pair to go either together or nearby. So yeah, I'm very excited about finishing this one off. I was like, do you know what? It's time. I've had it almost since I like really got back into cross stitching this year, and it's time for it's time for this one to finish off. Picked up Sea Dragon again. There's a hanging thread, so just ignore that. But I've been working on the black down underneath the dragon's head, and it's really starting to pop. This is by Nadezdha, Gavrilenkova. And I absolutely adore her patterns. You've heard me rave about this one before, but like I said, it's perfect if you're looking for a small-ish full coverage pattern. 15,000 stitches. I'm about a third of the way done now, and it's looking great. It's going to be a lot of backstitch, this is another 32 count merino. This is Azure Blue by Swigart, and I think it's super cute. It came slightly less turquoise than I was anticipating. It is definitely on some of the promo shots. It looks way more turquoise than it is. It's definitely more of a bright blue than a turquoise. So just be aware if you're buying it that it leans more blue than turquoise. My throat is super dry today. Moving slightly away from the cross stitch for a second, I worked some more on my goldwork bird. Over here. Yay! This is a Becky Hogg kit. All I did, it took hours, is I finished off the one, focus, why don't you? Day. I finished off the silver passing here, and then I plunged it to the back, and then you put some black embroidery thread between them to give it some definition. And if I show you the back, you fold them up and then you secure them on the back side by couching them again, then you cut them off. It's ruining a pair of scissors, completely ruining one of my pairs of scissors. I probably should have bought a pair specifically for gold work, but you know what? It's fine. I'm fine with it ruining one pair and I'll chuck them. Next, I do some more silver passing down this part of the wing. And I'm not mentally prepared yet to do more passing, which is this couching of the silver. So I will do some more next week because I'm trying to do a little bit each week just to keep it moving, but I'm not there yet. I was saying on my Instagram, it's not a technique that I'm used to. I'm not used to gold work, although I have done most of the stitches involved with this before, but not with these types of threads. So it does take me a little bit more brain power than I'm used to sit and do it. So I have to be in the right frame of mind. I have to have a good 2 to 3 hours set aside to be able to sit and do it. I can't be I have 20 minutes, I'll just pick it up. It's not that kind of project. It's I have an evening, I'll sit and do it. So yeah, I'm trying to find one evening a week to dedicate to it, but look at the shine on that. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. And my grandparents passed away last year from COVID, and this I bought the kit for this with some of the inheritance that I received from them. So I'm kind of not doing it as a memorial piece, but I would like to have it finished and have it on the wall as kind of a little piece in their memory. So yeah, that's kind of it. It has meaning beyond just the stitching. So that's that one. Another new start, because why not? I showed you my fabric for Princess Elliana last week, and like I said, the only reason I hadn't started was because I fell out of love with the fabric that I bought, and because I was in love with this fabric, I started it, and then I spent a week stitching basically only on this. And look at it. I mean, genuinely, didn't realise that I left a thread just halfway through. Oops. I try not to do it because I can't. My sense of different colours is not fantastic. So sometimes I worry that if I leave random threads in the middle of the project, I'm going to come back to it and be like, I can't distinguish what colour that is from the other colours that are on this. Hopefully I will be able to. It's such a big piece of fabric. Oh, and it's got some 310 on the back to distinguish that one. Let's just fold it a bit. There we go. Probably start hold it now. Quite. Oh, she's absolutely friggin' massive. You get the idea. I love the colours. I love how they look on this fabric. Angles. I'm not changing any colours. I'm sticking with everything as is. Apologies. This is the bottom, so you can see how that's interacting with the fabric, and I think it looks amazing. This is the top of the first yellow flounce on the back of the skirt. I absolutely adore it. I think it looks amazing. It's a lot of fun to stitch. It is. I made a photocopy of the chart just for my working, so I can draw on it, which is making a huge difference. And it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. But it is. I mean, this piece of fabric. You can see from this piece of fabric how big it's going to be. But I think the orange bits in the fabric are really going to complement the colours in the skirt. And I'm just I'm absolutely thrilled with my fabric choice. And yeah, it sounds like I'm really bigging myself up. I'm thrilled. Yeah, no. It made me want to stitch on it, which was the most important thing, because this piece is enormous. So you need to want to do it. I won't put any beads on until the end, just because of how I stitch. I stitch in hand. Any extra weight is not ideal. I do get hand strain, which is why I moved away from hoops in the first place. Hoops, Q-snaps, they do put strain on my hands, whereas just stitching in hand, the weight of the fabric is not enough to make my hands tired. So yeah. Beads. I don't want to put these on preemptively. 2 more things. I was going to say that was quick, but I can't see how long it's been. No, it wasn't. Kingfishers. Oh, I should tell you what fabric that is. It's Cauldron by Picture This Plus. I'm stitching on 28 count. The linen. I'm not even sure they do even weave. Who knows? Kingfishers. Yeah, still in love with this project. I took it to work. I didn't get time to stitch on it because work's been absolutely manic, but you can see I've put in a tiny bit more of the leafery. I think I've put in the fish that one over there is eating, and I put in a tiny bit more on the florals over there. Slow, like I haven't done much on this, but I still absolutely adore it, and I will get progress on this over time, because I do love it. This one is on another Chromatic Alchemy fabric. This is the Belfast linen version of Eostre, Eostre, which I think looks like duck eggs, blue, and says shoe count. It's beautiful. I think it works really well with this pattern. I'm very pleased. I haven't shown you a knitting project before because I haven't really been knitting, but we've been watching Loki, the TV show, on Disney Plus, and I don't have a good setup in our current living space that I can stitch while watching TV because the lighting isn't great, and I can't just have lighting on me that doesn't impact our TV setup, because we stream from a projector, so any light in the area makes the projector there. That you don't need to know. Anyway, it's bad. Currently it's bad. When we're moving, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to have a setup which means that I can stitch while we watch TV, without it being horrific for the rest of the room. So I've been knitting. This is the most boring piece of knitting you've ever seen in your life. It's a stockinette panel with some garter stitch at the bottom. Wow, look at that. It's so impressive. I'm knitting a jumper for my dad. He will probably get it for Christmas at this rate. It's so slow going. but it's a beautiful colour. It's not coming up right there, it's much more green. And that's the back panel. I still have to knit all the other panels, but you know, slowly, every little bit is progress. I've actually just bought some more yarn to knit a scout shawl, which I'll put a picture one side of the other. I got some yarns in orange, blues, and whites, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, I'm gonna knit that. There is a new to me technique in there, which is intarsia. So obviously the Farrell I've done before. I showed you my Farrell blanket. Intarsia is basically where you knit 2 different sections at once in different yarns, and then you twist the yarns in between them to join them. If you are intrigued, look up how to knit intarsia online, and they will show you, like, there are plenty of tutorials about how to do intarsia. And like, at this point, unless I'm knitting something that's very mindless, I just nearly hit myself with a knitting needle. There it is. I like to do projects that have new to me techniques, because otherwise I'm not learning. And I do have quite a strong skill set in knitting. I've got a lot of techniques under my belt, so it's still good to pick up new ones. If you are not a new knitter, but you are a relatively experienced knitter and you're looking for interchangeable circulars, the best recommendation I ever got is the Hare Sharps set. They are absolutely incredible. I picked up mine a year ago now, and got rid of all of my other circular needles. I have a massive. Well, actually, I didn't get rid of them because I don't want to chuck them away because they're fine. Actually, if you're in the UK and you want any circular knitting needles, also let me know, because I have like an entire bag full of various different sizes. So yeah, if you're in need, let me know. I have many. But yeah, if you're looking for interchangeables, which are ones where you the cable and the needle come separately, so you can swap out different needles onto different length cables, and you basically only need one set of circular needles, rather than having lots of different sets. It's a space saver. It's a good space saver. The Hare ones are absolutely phenomenal, and I would really strongly recommend them. That is what I've been knitting. Acquisitions. There were acquisitions. There was more fabric acquisition. Did I need more fabric acquisition? Probably not. Did I get more fabric acquisition? I sure did. Let me show you. This one, I actually I ordered a Christmas box from Embroidery Designs, and when I was on her site, I also picked up this piece, and I've looked at it before. It was in her sale, and I was like, I love it. And then because I was buying something anyway, I was like, yes, I will. This is Hestia. It's now out of sale. I'm sorry. If you love it, I'm sure she can dye you a piece. It's like brownie pinks, and it's brownie goldeny pinky. It's just gorgeous. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to put on it, but yeah, it's glorious, and it's quite a big piece. That is 18 by 26, so I could put something really big on it. But yeah, that one is that one's going into the unlike what I said about Phoenix Lugana, where I just wanted to put something on it. That one is going into the stash with no plans at the moment. Then this one, which I actually ordered. Long story. I ordered this in February. The dyer has been having some issues, and only sent it to me last week. So I'm not going to tell you who this is from, because I'm not sure if I want to recommend them. The fabric is absolutely beautiful, but I mean, it took 4 months to send it to me, which is not ideal. But the fabric is beautiful. So there it is. It's very pretty, but I'm not sure I would order something from them again in the near future until like things have calmed down a little bit, because it wasn't ideal. Also, I don't know why I ordered such a small piece. Why did I order such a small piece? What am I going to put on that? Anyway, it wasn't worth the wait. I mean, the fabric is beautiful, but if it had been a bigger piece, it probably would have been worth the wait, but it wasn't worth the wait. The final piece I got was my first fabric of the month piece from Chromatic Alchemy. I'm really like, yay. This is Amethyst Spirit. Obviously, I'm sorry you can't get this unless you're in the Fabric of the Month Club. You can go on her website and express interest in being in the Fabric of the Month Club, and she'll email you if any spaces come up. I am honestly like, this is so beautiful. It's sparkly. This is not the fabric I got for Fabric of the Month. This is a totally different fabric that I already have. I'm just showing you again. This is the fabric that I'm going to put bullfinches on, which I ordered. You can, no, this was a special a couple of months ago that I just ordered off the website, which I'm going to put bullfinches on, which is going to be beautiful. But this is not the Fabric of the Month. Let me just go find it. Well, that was mildly confusing. This is the fabric. This is the Fabric of the Month. Oh gosh, it looks very washed out there. Why take and put it so it shows up? It's not helping. It's kind of a it's very pale mint green. You can kind of see in the shadows there when it's not washing out. And it's got very sort of light dapples of grey on it. You can't see that at all, but you'll have to take my word for it. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this yet. Haven't quite decided. It's not quite the right colour for anything that I have planned for an immediate start. But it's it's still very pretty, and it's light enough that I could definitely put something on it. I'm just not entirely sure what that is yet. Maybe I have Abby Sue Designs Tiana. Maybe Tiana could go on this. Might look cute. Oh, I was thinking about something just then. The next one, which is coming, because I've seen the reveal, is glorious. It's like blues and golds and all sorts. It's a real mishmash. And I think I'm going to put my goldfinches from Owl Forest on that. So yeah, very excited about that one. But apologies that this is not showing in any way the real colour that it is. Maybe we're kind of there, that's right, yeah. Anyway, it's you have to trust me that it's quite pretty. It's sort of a, yeah, greeny colour. And finally, so I got my next set of Crotchet Garden threads through, and I'm just going to show you these because they're just absolutely spectacular. We'll start with the least interesting one, which is Melting Moment, which is still gorgeous. It's this kind of buttery yellow variegated one. Garden Path, which is purple and yellow. Glorious. Jacaranda. Purples and blues. Lily Path, which is like burgundy, green and blue. I'm very excited to see what that one looks like unwound. And then Billabong, which is just, I mean, I have no idea what I'm going to stitch with that, but it's going to be fun. So yeah, I'm slowly, like I said, acquiring my stash of Cottage Garden threads, and they'll go. I need to think of a way to store them so I can see them, because basically the current setup doesn't allow for it. But like I said, we are moving house. Basically, the landlords, the flat we currently live in, returning from Australia and want to come back and live in their flat, which is, completely fair. So we're moving. We have a new flat. We're moving just 10 minutes down the road to a flat which has a garden, which is very exciting, and potentially we might be able to get a dog, which we're also very excited about. So it's not like we weren't planning on moving, so it is added stress in that way. But on the other hand, like, it's slightly cheaper. It's not worse in terms of location. It's slightly closer to work for me, which means it's a shorter walk in the morning, and we might be able to get a pet, which would be great. So yeah, it's not the end of the world, and and we're looking to buy in a couple of years anyway, so it's kind of like, it is what it is. It just means the added stress at the moment of like looking at furniture and looking at like moving things and getting rid of things that we don't want anymore and all of that kind of stuff that comes with moving. But that such is life. On top of that, not a lot has been happening. Things have just been kind of slowly returning to normal. I'm back at work full time, which is nice. Back in the office a couple of days a week, which is also nice. Yeah, not a lot to say really in terms of life and how things are. We managed to bring our second vaccines forward by a month, so I'll be having mine in a few weeks, which is much better than it was. It was at the end of August, which was not ideal. It's now at basically the earliest point I could have had it after my first one, because the UK basically just like, everyone get vaccinated as quickly as possible. So it's great. Uni is picking up. I'm working on my dissertation at the moment, and my uni supervisor every time I see her is like, "And have you done things?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've done some things, but work is busy." So yeah. So yeah, let me leave you with those, and if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, please do let me know. If you want to see me in another aspect of my life and what I'm doing at the moment, I'm currently running a D&D campaign. Someone outside is angry. I'm currently running a D&D campaign on Roll Together's channels. That's streaming every Monday night, or morning if you're US based, on Twitch. So if you like D&D, or if you're interested or you like a good yarn, we're telling quite an amusing story in the Feywild. So that is good fun if you have any interest at all. And that is where I will leave you. And yeah, let me know what you thought of my projects. I'm a bit all over the place at the moment, interest wise. I'm not sure what I'm going to be working on over the next couple of weeks. It will definitely be the new normal, because that is my kind of go-to project, and I'm sure whatever else comes out will come out, and you'll see it in 2 weeks' time. So subscribe if you'd like to see me again, and comment, please. I do love reading them, and I do try to comment back where I can. And yeah, lovely to see you all, and see you all soon. Bye.